chasing a SWAPO commander for 2 days and eventually getting to a kraal like this and him hiding in one of these huts, and John chasing everybody out of the kraal and lining the team up, identifying one of the huts where this commander was, lining the team up with all of their rifles, driving a Casper over through the kraal, crushing the hut down, everybody firing into the rubble, and then him pulling that commander out of the rubble and giving him over to me. Shot a few times, driven over with a Casper, and saying to me, keep him alive, work with him.
During the war, Hitler war, when I was born. For your information again, manga tuli moskora. Ya tunangara mboka, atunangara mo mahofo ne, o matunangara mo kampaetu. Atujaru kotiri no mashashi enyayo shako enya o atujara shako itandisi.
During the 1960s, most African countries had gained independence except for Namibia. Namibia was then known as Southwest Africa, a territory under South African administration from 1915 to 1990. South African apartheid laws were extended to Namibia and prevented black Namibians from having any political rights, as well as restricted social and economic freedoms. The South African apartheid regime believed that by holding on to Namibia, the guerrilla war in Angola would be kept further away from South Africa. Rahimi Thawaka Himithe, shot and captured during the liberation struggle. Joas Njulume Ipinge, journalist and a photographer throughout the liberation struggle. Nyalasha Eliasa Elia Haulonjaba, an artillerist commander. Roger Mwanga Mushimbwa, SWAPO's guerrilla warfare militant. John Amapindi, SWAPO's guerrilla warfare military commander. These are some of the pioneers of the Namibian Northern Border War, which provoked the Liberation War for Independence. In March 1962, SWAPO decided to begin recruiting Southwest Africans and send them for guerrilla trainings overseas. And these men were some of the early recruits in the late 60s and early 70s.
That time in the 60s, SWAPO was organizing itself. Our aim now was go and try to have to train people, and after training to try to get weapons so that we are going to start now attacking. Mostly to organize people so that they can go and organize some of those who cannot go, because we did not have enough even weapons. We were organizing people, but you don't have, you train them, but you don't have guns. That become also difficult to go and attack. So mostly we have to take them out. We were only taking them out to Tanzania so that they can go be trained and then come back.
The agenda of SWAPO was around the belief that class struggles for independence and political and social freedom were needed to create historical change in Namibia. SWAPO claimed support from all the local tribes. However, the South African government, in an attempt to divide and conquer, refused the United Nations order to withdraw from the Trust Territory in 1966. Therefore, SWAPO turned to armed struggle. Sem Nuyoma dispatched two recruiters, Nyifike Punye Lucas Pohamba and Elia Mwatale, to Ovamboland, where they succeeded in recruiting hundreds of volunteers for a new guerrilla army, which was subsequently named the Southwest African Liberation Army, SWALA.
When we went to exile, our wish was to go to Tanganyika. I do remember once upon a time when the OAU have sent Comrade Pohamba, Comrade Simnioma, Comrade Elia Dermatale they were told to come back inside the country and mobilize the people. They were given an airplane by the OAU through Kwame Nkrumah. So what happened? They arrived in Eros, in prison. I think they only spent 3 days there. Then the boss said they should go back where they come from.
Around 1960 or 61, the mobilization of SWAPO from OPPO started. Where the mobilization was led by Toadreni Kahumba Kandola, Elumani Ateivo. We were very young. We were only used to send to tell people to come to the meeting of SWAPO. Of SWAPO. But at that time, people were mobilizing that OPPO, Ovambo People's Organization.
There was an organization, Southwest Africa Liberation Front, Swan Leaf, which was made so that SWANU and SWAPO can come together. But we found that the SWANU leaders in Francistown, they were now wanted the SWAPO to join them, and especially they were looking even for this. They were hero speaking, not all the other members of SWAPO.
In September 1965, SWALA established its first training camp on Southwest African soil at Omungulungobashe, one of 5 potential bases identified by SWALA's initial reconnaissance team as appropriate sites to recruit and drill more insurgents. Due to the low number of insurgents, plan fighters used various specialized tactics such as guerrilla tactics to invade the country and attack the South African forces. SWAPO used Angola as a base for guerrilla warfare. On Namibian soil, operations were carried out by SWAPO's guerrilla force. Andimba Toivo ya Toivo, a co-founder of SWAPO, was key in the liberation of Namibia, even though he was imprisoned in South Africa for a 16-year term from 1968 to 1984.
Toivo ya Toivo was the president of OPPO and the SWAPO, OPPO and the OP. When SWAPO was formed, 1960, Toivo and the Kahumba, they were big leaders of the Northern.
Joas Julume Ipinge joined the liberation movement in 1962 due to the poor working conditions in the country. He later went into exile in 1965.
Those years, they was very difficult years. And I went to tell my secretary, Ben Amadera, that I want to go to the north, but I want to cross and go over to exile.
On the 6th of April 1965, Joas received a parcel from the United States of America via Walvis Bay, destined for the northern part of the country of Ovambo land. The parcel was intended for the then Ovambo People's Organization, OPPO, president, Andimba Toivo ya Toivo, and he was told to guard the parcel with his life.
There is a parcel here which you must go and hand over to the north, to Yatoivo. I said, what parcel is it? He said, no, don't worry. Because you want to cross over, therefore, there is a problem with us now. You are the only one we only rely on you. When the time comes for me to leave the place, I left Walvis Bay on the 6th of April, 1965. That finished, and I came to the north. In that parcel is money which I was given. Those money were donated by the American so to help SWAPO. So I have to give that parcel over to Yatoivo.
In the last meeting of SWAPO, Jowas shocked Yatoivo.
Paifene peke angino no kushane, ondakara ni ndiye kombanda. 65 mono. Kwali no kuno meeting nene ari mo monjonjo. Meeting anjono yari, it was the last meeting ya SWAPO. 1965 mo May. Mari mu ya dine. Kae monenda kazane mo meeting amono dika ineko in exile. Therefore, toipo ne kwa atinda ne rucha man jurume. Waharawe peni kwa Tanganyika. How can you go there? How do you know that? Ati no. Amonde kwa tirini maishinda kumahiriri na bina madhira. Therefore, amondara ne ndiye kombanda paif. He is my benefit card and became penok. On the hard work to make connection to Tongurumi. Now he asked me a question. How do you know that there is a man called Maximum Tongurumi and he's in Francistown? How do you know that Comrade Atoivo? You don't know to whom you are talking to. And I am a full member of SWAPO. Where Shuaru Manga Kemburu, escorted from South Africa. What we are Morukan and Doru Kururambai. What we are paying? What we are Mahuridi? Just about Ndin Mundia, or Ramahuridi, Dinore Tundin, where Wamanga Kemburu. Do you remember it? Yes, I can recall. Yes, that's right. No, I wanted to go now to Tanganyika. I know that Maximum Tongurumi is there. Our way was to go to school and to fight so that we can to liberate the country. That was my aim and objective.
At the time of the incident, both Andimba Toivo Yatoivo and Nathaniel Mahwilili had a travel ban in the country. Thus, Jowas was used to transport the parcel from Walvis Bay to Ovamboland.
I was given those parcels. That parcel, if I could have just misused it or like that, I would have been no longer be there. But I have to hand over that money to Yatoivo. Yatoivo was banned not to go to the north, to the south. And Mahwilili was banned not to come to the north. That was not the problem. So no people know that I was well known that I cannot steal the money. And I'm well known as a member of SWAPO. Very, very good. They give me the things and I hand over the money to Yatoivo. Even Yatoivo was surprised and said, man, how do you come to give me those things? Were you not given by the boss and that, I was not given by the boss. Because when I arrived there in Onjonjo, with a big bag, there are these things, Omakrakasha, Ugashi, Giagariwa Kinguru, Koturango, Radi, Panadi, Fikapane, Omunukumba Fange, Makrakasha, no, that parcel of money, been in the Terane to Ivom, and the Pukurwane Ponte de Monone, and Takarane Mapen Ostora Toivo. Oh, Dieu, I pronounce an Alcutua Joe Beck. Tamuno, no, Waharatate Toivo. No, Ostorondia in Dara Costoranjopo. On the Amumostramonone, Barimon on dance at and dance, and Nandinango Shaka and Joe Po, and the Monet. And the Chakandium Biremuya, Moton Bangangino, your poor take Kokora time we are the Tatrashin, more poor finish. Quatarangino poor, everything is all right. It's goof.
What was the purpose of the money SWAPO received from the United States of America? Yatoivo doubted where the money came from. At some point, he thought the money was a bribe given to Jowas to get him arrested.
The money was to build up SWAPO, to organize, listen, so that SWAPO can be strong, you see. But no, Yapeyo did not know that me, I was a fisherman. He did not know that money, he thought perhaps I was given bribe by the police so that SWAPO can be arrested. But it's not like that. To my observation is this: SWAPO had people who communicate with them through the sea, you see? And there were many Negroes who wished to come to Walvis Bay by ship. And many people of SWAPO also, they escaped through that way. Many of them were arrested, you see, through the sea, crossing over to go to America. And that was not the time when the war was starting. That what can we do now? We have to mobilize all over in America so that the Americans can help us. So Joe Biden was one of them, you see. I mean, the newly American president, those who donated money, you see, for SWAPO to win independence, to struggle so that it can win independence.
In 1964, Kahimithe went into exile. He got recruited for training in Tanganyika, currently Tanzania, and he expressed how pleased he was to see Namibian tribes unite for one cause.
I was lucky to meet and work with late comrade Peter Enias Nanyemba. And so we worked together. And during that time is when some of the people who went for military training, either in the Soviet Union or Algeria or Egypt or Ghana, were coming back after training. And when I met them, when I saw them, I decided that I'm not going to, because I wanted to be a lawyer. I decided, my grandfather was saying that when are we going to liberate our country so that we can go back and be free? And these are men, and even he was saying, if the Ovambos and the Namas came on time, he was sure that the German would not beat them. But because they were late, they came a bit late. And so when I saw other tribes also in the military training, say that now this is the time, I canceled my form to go to the Soviet Union. I wanted to go with the late comrade Garigu Tugeshiriage to do law. So I decided to come go for military training.
Kahimithe joined the war front in 1967. His first mission was to attack the police station of Katima Mulilo.
In 1967, I got a report that we, about 30 of us, are going to the front. And among these who were going to the front, the commander of the group was Comrade Apisai Hangome. His deputy was Comrade Malamo Manoa. And the political commissar and the intelligence office, it was me, Colonel Rahimiso Akahimise, and then the other people. And so we were sent first to go and fight in Katima Mulilo to attack the police station there. And as a political commissar, I was one of those who said that we must fight. What will happen to us is not the issue, but what will happen to our country and our people is the main issue. So what we had to do is to contribute what we can. And even when I'm talking, we were even sent twice to South Africa to meet ANC, and Congo was Siswe, the arm of ANC, and with the Kosatu. And these I have even witnesses who we were together.
The Namibian guerrilla forces at the Northern Border War had a hard time dealing with both the South African forces and the Portuguese forces that were at war in Angola. At the time, the South African forces were aligned with the Angolan forces of the National Union for the Total Independence of Angola, UNITA, and they plotted against SWAPO with multiple ambush missions, but SWAPO never wavered. Many joined the liberation movement to fight for safer and better working and living conditions.
What made me to go there is because of the suffering. I was working in the sea. I said, no man, I can't stay in Namibia again suffering like this, because all my friends, they already left the country, so I have to follow them. Our way was to go to school and to fight, so that we can to liberate the country. That was my aim and objective, you see.
But at that time, people were mobilizing that OPO, Ovambo People's Organization. Then my brother, 1962, took me. And at that time, many were left the country, went to Tanzania. We were told if we want to fight, we have to go to Tanzania and train it militarily and fight the Boers.
There where we were schooling, even at school where we were schooling, sometimes our teachers, they were teachers from army, and they were boasting on us. They were shouting on us. They were giving us wrong information, telling us that they are the boss of the country. Yeah, they are the boss of the country. And now, automatically, when those people started, now, we just started hearing from the radio. Now we just got that, no, these people, now this one is a sort of what? Of colonizing other people. Now they were forcing us even at at work, if we are just go outside and have a certain type of work. They were shouting to us, beating us roughly, doing unnecessary things which they were doing to us. And then I felt that I have to really go and liberate my country, fight for my country to be liberated.
Roger Mwanga Mushimbwa joined SWAPO in 1975 to fight for safer and better working and living conditions.
My combat name, it was Kondabu. Kondabu. You see, I took it from another guy who was tough in a training in a bush. Something like, I don't know whether it was just on a film that time when we were still in Namibia, before I joined what. Yeah, I just don't recall that name because that guy was using these guns, he was using knives like a commando. Yeah, it's why I took, because he was very much stubborn. And then from there, that Kondabu, it came in my mind that it would have to be, I'll act like that man in war. Anyway, there was we were receiving some information from Zambia there through the radio. Those people who went there before us, they were announcing in the radio, saying that we should come and Zambia, come and fight our country, liberate our country. Yeah, when we embarked, what they took us from Sisheke, they just said us, just direct at Oshatotwa training camp, where we got this, our trainees, they were the group, the commander of the camp, he was this Mekinamara and the Danger Ashpala. is where they handed to us. They handed us in the hands, and then we start the training.
Haulo Njaba was chief of operation for the Namibian guerrilla warfare in Angola, serving at the Eastern Front as an artillerist commander during the South African Border War.
We were trained in different fields. Myself, I was trained in artillery, specialized in artillery, big cannon. And when I came to the front, I was appointed to be commander of the artillery. And then the enemy came. And then we were told that the enemy is coming. They passed where I was, the position. When they reached to the killing line, we call to the killing line, the man who was having a machine gun is Peter Shilumbu Sheham. He opened a fire. When he opened a fire, all of us, we opened a gun. People were just firing, they are not going forward. I realized commander is on the edge of where the machine gun started. I stood up, they shouted my own. I said, you are surrounded by the battalion. Now I'm calling the first company and the second company to forward. From that time, I stood up. When I stood up, I just charged him. When Dimoki Danangala, Dan, Eshidaka Fafala, to Dashkina, no, Yota, Le Kuchanga, Hinonga, when they on Bell. Sasho kwita tumakucha na tupato materiolo ayaka ulipeko o 10th anniversary ko Sudan. Omambongolo, when they called Omambongolo battle, me de valombela. Sashe shine welinga shwe kumalo ka okuna onumwapo pya moshizulu amondali ko South Africa. Tativa ashikarisani madota. Tativa lumen enje bona du patruke mosizulu. Cheata patula sho polo kotos. Embelo gente tu helo. Eshita mana oponenda kalongola kwetukucha. Ova nuvenya keshe umo wapi tapo wamona peni rumbu ngapi. Ai mwatati nganda mwana ngoshumwa kesha nagala penya ai. Ama nuvenya o walaule. Sasho tapo ta komano moshizulu asikalisani madota. Na tutameke ni bakwaita. Obo pagajane dinalo kutiwa o battle yo mambongolo.
During the 1960s, Angola was a Portuguese colony, and that meant that any supply lines supporting Namibian armies to get enough weapons and aid to start a serious military campaign were cut off. In 1975, when Angola became independent, better supply lines for SWAPO were enabled, allowing them to launch a serious guerrilla warfare campaign. In 1978, SWAPO had around 18,000 combatants and could launch 800 raids into Namibia.
Apa, taturune. Ito tayane paifoyane paif. Sashote ironga tu. Okutambi irusotaiji ko Zambia, fetu fare kunya miniro chirongo, fetu katungenyu urumbasi. Oturi mu bundanenga, oturi mu lao. Tokotu. Finish. Paka swan paife mboroshi de angaone. Twakarwane ne mborone. Pufie tapuya swane kambara. Kulimo mwenye fiopaisenga, he was our ambassador in Nigeria. Kambalanga, uno kunshua, konja kambara. Yes. Paife konja kambara sha swanga ho. What is to be done now? That ya omnongenge twem dipa fietu ruita. Tuye kotavi. It's not good. Atuno ka upuro. Atu duro kum dipa. Shati Kotavi, that is not good. We need him. To know kumfaramo Zambia shiki. But if you kushuna ne money matum fare kona Zambia, hatupa ono to patorone. Pari peri ne man. Ha? Elaki nafa mwari munomro omnoka odoro aro kere ne. O marivara tu rivara. O me vashik. Ha? Faifa aturo toka ne. No akarunga man. Pedu kaduro kuyapu. Pari peno minumwa kutua Ngeama. He passed away. That man is a brave man. Manga aturunga ho. Ode kambarotum shira pashinga mendero. De tatandwa. O springa tai no horo tai fomo. O pota hondwa. Then from there finish. At Mumbata. Back to Zambia. O grupo ito taito anuava twaki singwa vone. Wamubaja ko North Korea. Wamubaja ko Russia. Wamubaja ko Cuba. Special group. Try to only 49 well-trained guerrillas. You could win if you know other. Huh? And I couldn't believe it. Kay Sudano kaya. Opo, that yes. We need that man, we need him. Venyata kanifera tatu, doesn't matter. Mara o tatu tung kanifera. Ide tum dipai, never. Kombingange ne. Ndaka mwana oju mesho. Eringo ero komingai. Ola tua koka ozo. Omajashi kyo meva. Ocho omajashi ko honde. Eshingo aturo toka na kambarani ngaha mi hwangaha. Tadisuane. Man, damonu shuna man. Man, honde hapuman.
Joas Njulume Ipinge recalls arriving for training in Tanzania, and during their training, there was a specific emphasis on a big military base in the northeastern part of Namibia. This base was known as the Kamenga Base.
For your information, when I left Mtumbi College and went to train for training, we were only training about that camp. Then I said, but Kamenga, what is Kamenga? Where here you're going to put your forces here, and then the withdrawal, you'll go elsewhere. Man, I was surprised and said, man, but is this camp in Southern America or where? Kandi, the camp is inside Namibia. And those Russians who were training us, all the positions, because we were together with Green Matongo, Peter Mwishiange, Deimana, Alodi, Erifas Namwandi, Dapotiwa, Stephen, and me. We were being trained, special. Hey.
South Africa started building up his bases along the border. Kamenga was one of the border base of South Africa. Just a corner to Zambia there. It was decided that we should attack South Africa installation. You know, remember that when Omoluwombashe was attacked, we were attacked, we did not initiating. We have to make some initiative to attack the enemy. We organized and the reconnaissance was made. We went there, Ghana arrived, we were beaten, we were there. We went to attack Kamenga.
one, if I can recall. And then, when we were in Zambia, when we were in the front, we have to go to Haimusho. In Haimusho is when we should launch and get into the country in Katima to beat that camp. And it was the biggest camp in all Namibia. And we reconnoitered that camp for 3 weeks. Man, I'm telling you the truth. It was me, Elias, Burunganga. Ah, man.
We wanted to show that South Africa, we can beat South Africa. I think it was very surprise to them. They were not expecting us to have a big gun. We attacked there. I was the gunner who was firing. Kamenga was, we set on fire because there was oil there, tanks. We attacked around 5 o'clock afternoon.
That camp, there were one tank of petrol and one tank of diesel.
Then we drew without South Africa force respond. While we were withdrawing, the helicopter came. We have already vanished to go to Zambia. We successfully that day, no one from our side got injury. Only the enemy. The base was on fire. We don't know exactly how many died there, but if we can call record of South Africa, they will tell us how many died there. But they announced later that they lost about they said they were about 18 men died there. You know, as a customary, enemy or forces cannot tell the truth what happened on their side, casualty. They will only tell you what they want to tell you.
Ikamana neo kamba toke denga no to sei onito katumushe tukai no ko ulao kwandu kubango again okotomana nare hayo tunoko ya nenga hapa itu 2 minutes shinogon.